see you again next time.
What's up, guys? Rhett Tollison. Today we're going to go over installation on a 2024 Road Glide. This has got all the new model year changes that Harley just made. We're going to be putting a 10-inch Ornery Ape on there. It's a new bar we've had for a couple years, never really showcased it a whole lot. Our spearheads, Pathfinders, Pioneer, all of our adjustable stuff will fit on this bike as well. You get the same adjustability out of it, but the Ornery Ape is just a one-piece fixed bar. It's got the points on top, squared off at the bottom. But we'll be going over the changes that Harley made as we go through the install process, and showing you how to put 14-inch bars on there as well. Today we're just going to do 10s, but we'll show you the tricks to get 14s on there. So we'll start with the teardown. We'll go to the internal wiring, and then we'll reassemble everything at the end. All right, first thing we're going to do, like always, is cover up our gas tank, front fender. We've got our protective bags for our brake and clutch levers. All right, first thing we're going to do is just get in here underneath the riser. We've got a few fork fairing pieces to remove, and that'll give us access to the plug-ins for the electrical harnesses, and give us access to free up our brake and clutch lines if you're going up to a 14, which you'll have to do. But it's very simple on this model. Harley made it where minimal has to be taken off to get access. So we'll go through that real quick, and then we'll start taking the components off the bar. All right, small flathead screwdriver. Gonna slide it underneath this trim piece and pry up. That'll come out, give us access to these two Phillips head bolts. All right, while we've got the Phillips head in our hand, up here at the top, these two pieces connect with it's a plastic Phillips head screw. Just kind of lightly put pressure and it'll ease its way back out. If you push straight down on it, it won't really back out. And we'll get this piece out here in a minute. All right, next on the sides of the legs, you're going to have a 3/8 bolt head that we'll remove on each side. It helps if you're able to turn the front wheel. If you've got it locked in a chalk, that's okay too. Just gives you a little bit more room to work with here. Same thing on the other side. All right, with a flathead, pop this little bushing out that little plastic screw was in. All right, now these two halves will separate. Have to use a little bit of force, and we will turn the front wheel left or right, and that'll allow us to get these pieces out of here. We'll just set them to the side. All right, we're going to go ahead and disconnect our switch harnesses. Like to use a flathead screwdriver. Insert it into the plug, pull it out. Should be 3 in total. 2 for the right, 1 for the left. All right, going to the next step. All right, we're going to pop our perch bolts out that hold our brake and clutch levers on. On these new models, the perch clamp is now one piece to the switch housing. These are going to be T27. And Harley has also added a little pigtail that comes out of the switch housing and plugs into the clutch and brake levers. We're going to disconnect it and we will bag up our levers. Same thing on the brake side. All right, same thing with the little pigtail harness. Disconnect it, bag up your brake. All right, now we're ready to remove our riser bolts and dismount the stock bars. These are 1/4 inch Allen heads. Put your riser to the side, dismount your bars. Your electrical harnesses go through the center of this lower riser piece. So just lay your bars back or get somebody to hold them and just pull those through that slot. All right, on the top riser clamp, Harley has put a little locator pin on the underside of it. They did this on the 15 to 23 models as well, and we always just knock them out because it limits the position where you can, lock the bars down. And with everybody being different, we just like customers to have complete freedom on where to position their bars. So you can knock this off with a ball peen hammer, angle grinder, die grinder, Dremel tool, whatever you have available. Just remove it down flush so that it doesn't interfere with the bar you're putting on. So just smooth it down where it's flush. All right, now we're ready to start the internal wiring process for our new bars. First, we're going to remove the switch housings and pull the stock harnesses out of the bar. It's a pretty simple deal. All you need is a Torx 20 and a small flathead screwdriver. All right, so I'm starting on the throttle side. Got 2 Torx 20s. Take the cover off the back. Got this little door here. Press down, open it up. All right, if you have heated grips, you will have a pigtail coming out of the inside of the grip and out of the main slot here. It'll snake back around and plug into here. But you got 2 plugs, one throttle by wire, and then one is your main harness for your switches. You stick your flathead in, pull out. Same thing on the throttle. All right, now the grip and the switch housing will slide off. We'll put that to the side and go to the clutch side. All right, same thing here, 2 Torx 20 bolts. Take the backside cover off. Same thing here, if you have heated grips, you'll have a harness coming in and plugging in to that location. And then here you got your main switch harness. And your grip and switch housing will slide right off. All right, we'll get our stock harnesses out. Push a little in the slot, into the bottom, the base slot, and pull the slack out of the handle. It'll feed through pretty easily. Same thing on the throttle side. All right, now we're ready to start internally wiring our 10-inch Ornery Apes. One thing I wanted to point out is on the 23 CVO and the 24 model Road Glides, the risers stick up about 2.5 inches taller than they did on the 15 to 23 year models. So if you're coming off of one of those bikes and you're used to 14s and you've upgraded to one of these, you may want to consider going with a 12-inch bar because that's going to sit about like a 14 did. Same thing if you were riding 12s, you may want to go with a 10. That's what this is going to feel like at the end. It's going to feel like a 12-inch bar. So we'll start wiring it up and we'll get it on the bike, get it all put back together. All right, so we're going to start on the throttle side here, blow our string through. We're going to use a 12 gauge copper stranded wire as our pull wire. We will hook that to our string up here at the handle. I like to just tie a loop in it. Hook your pull wire through. Just kind of twist it around so it'll hold a little bit. And then we're going to pull it through the bar until there's just a couple inches sticking out of the base. All right, you can disconnect your string. All right, now we're going to tape off our electrical harness to our pull wire. Again, we're on the throttle side. You got 2 plugs. Just try to stagger them so you don't have one big, bulky area going through the bar at one time. Just tape it tight and light. And we'll just pull them through. Push some slack through the handle, pull out the slack from the base. Once you get it pulled through the bottom, you start untaping it. And you can remove your pull wire from the right throttle side. All right, blowing our string through the left side. All right, we'll hook our 12 gauge wire through our loop. So you got a couple inches sticking out. Disconnect our string. And we're ready to tape off our harness. All right, same thing. Push some slack through the handle, pull it out the bottom. Untape it. And pull your pull wire out of the bar. All right, we're ready to slide on our grip and our left side control, clutch side. The grip and the switch housing need to go on there at the same time. If you'll notice on this grip, it's got 2 cutouts. One's bigger than the other. The bigger one kind of nests into this little ring here in the switch housing, and it'll kind of lock in place and prevent it from rotating. All right, and if you can, keep all that together and just slide it on the tube just like that. Turn the controls to the front. All right, we're ready to plug in our harness. Again, if you have heated grips, that little pigtail will plug in there. Hear it click. And if you have, excess slack here, we'll just pull that out the bottom slot. Don't want it banjo tight, but you don't want it just all wound up in there. All right, before we put the backside cover on, Harley has got a set screw in the backside of this housing cover. And what it does on the stock bar, it creates like a little nipple on the inside, but they have a hole on the bar that goes in, and it locks the position of where your switch cubes can be positioned. Just like we've always done in the past, we do not put those types of holes in them, just so that the customer has complete freedom on where they want to position their controls or the bars. So in this case, if you'll just back this screw out, so that it's flush on the inside there, and then once you get everything where you want it, you can tighten it up until it's touching the tube, and that'll give you a little bit of resistance so that there's no chance your controls will rotate. Make sure this little pigtail goes in that cutout there, and then you can tighten, snug your housing up. We'll leave it a little bit loose, and we'll get everything where we want it when we get it on the bike. All right, moving over to the throttle side. We've got the same type of locator pin, except this one's just a plastic molded piece. We're just gonna clip it off for the same reason. It'll allow us complete flexibility on where we want to position our housings. All right, one of the bigger changes Harley made on these is, instead of there being throttle by wire sensor that goes in the end of the tube, this piece here is now the sensor. It's basically like a donut, slides over the tube, and then the grip engages it with the little notches here and makes it turn. Same concept, it just looks different. So if you can keep that together just like that, we'll slide it on the end of the tube. All right, we plug the black one here is our throttle by wire. You can plug it in. Go ahead and plug the white one in. It's our main harness. And if you have heated grips, the pigtail will plug in right there. All right, we'll go ahead and close this door. Hear it click. Just like we did on the other side, if you've got some slack here, we'll just pull it out the bottom. Don't want it banjo tight. We don't want it loose. Right there is about perfect. All right, so now we can put the backside switch cover on. We're ready to put it on the bike. All right, 2 bolts to remove on our brake and clutch lines, just to give us a little slack. These are bolted into the riser. It'll be a Torx 25 on both of them. All right, same thing on this side for the clutch cable. That'll just give us a few extra inches if we need it. All right, now we're ready to get them mounted in the riser. Push your harnesses through this middle slot here. Grab our top riser. All right, we'll pop our foam off and we'll get our brake and clutch levers mounted. All right, just so you see it in detail, this is that pigtail coming out of the housing that plugs into the brake and clutch levers. It's just gonna seat right in this, the plug on the lever. Just hear it click. That should be good. All right, now we'll mount the lever to the bar. Just make sure that pigtail we just discussed is not pinched or in a bind. You may want to peek on the other side of it just to make sure. Again, these are T27s. We'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, same thing on this side. Plug this harness in. Hear it click. Again, just make sure that none of those harnesses are pinched when you put this on. Snug them up. All right, let's plug up our harnesses. Remember, we've got two on the right, one on the left. All right, one thing I want to point out, if you are going up to 14-inch bars, this is on the right side of the neck. You can turn the wheel full lock to the right and really get a good access to it. But if you're going up to 14s, your brake line and clutch cable are seated into this hose tray here. You need to remove those from that hose tray. That's going to give you a couple extra inches that you'll need to go up to 14s. All right, we'll get our little side pieces put back in place. It'll help if you can turn the front wheel where we get these in here. This clutch cable, you may fight it a little bit, but it really needs to be inside of this plastic piece. All right, we'll get the other side in place. Same thing over here. That brake cable inside of it. You can see there where your cables are. Again, that stiff cable, you may fight it some, but it should go back together pretty easily. All right, while we're here, drop this piece in. All right, this piece, the little plastic Phillips head, should just be able to push it all in one assembly with the lower piece and the screw. And then just tighten it down a little bit. All right, here where the fork lock is, put these 2 Phillips head bolts in place. Tighten them down. All right, put our trim piece in. And we'll get our side bolts and that'll be it. All right, we'll get these side bolts in. Same thing on the other side. Use a 3/8 wrench for these. All right, so that's pretty much it for the install process. The last thing you need to do is just check your fitment on your hand controls, in the riser, and make any adjustments you need. Rotate your switch housings if you need to, and then just do a final inspection, make sure all your bolts are tight, and then put some miles on it. All right, so that completes our install on our 2024 Road Glide. Again, we put 10-inch Ornery Apes on here, which sits like a 12 on a previous model. Big thanks to Great South Harley Davidson. They're one of our local dealers. Cliff and Holly, the sales managers, Kevin's the GM, Wayne in parts, just good people to deal with. They're always open to help us when we need help. And we have a lot of friends that have bought bikes from them, just good people. But we appreciate you hanging out with us today. If you need further assistance, if you have questions, hit us up on the Contact Us page on the website, call us, drop a comment, social media, just reach out to us. We're here for you. So thanks again, and we'll see you down the road.